So I gave an example about converting US dollars to Mexican pesos. I said it was $1 to 20 pesos. Well, what is that? How do we talk about this? When you talk about a currency in relation to another currency, we call this a currency pair. So you'll often hear this term, what currency pair are you trading? Which pair are you looking at? So a currency pair is just quoting one currency against another. So USD to Mexican pesos, or any combination of currencies. Now, in this currency pair, there's two currencies. You have the base currency and the quote currency. The first one is going to be your base currency. And the second one is going to be your quote currency. So if, let's say for the previous example that we had, and I said USD, let's see here, USD to Mexican pesos, okay? Well, we would have said that this here, the USD, this is what we would call our base currency. Okay, it's our base currency. And the Mexican pesos is our quote currency. Okay, so this would be the base currency and this would be the quote currency. Okay, because you're saying the base currency is always one, right? So you're saying $1, how much can that give me in Mexican pesos? So the first one, the base currency, is the one we're relating to, saying, well, how much one of this is going to be worth in the other one. And the other one, the second one, the quote currency, is the one we're quoting. So we're giving a quote on it. We're saying, well, we're quoting a price of $20, 20 pesos for this $1. Or we're quoting at 18 pesos 0.7 for $1. Okay, so this is the base currency, quote currency. Now, the way we write these currencies, why didn't we just write US? Or why didn't we just write peso? Why did we write this? Because each currency is identified by its ISO currency code. ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization. And basically, if I open it here, okay, so you'll see that for each country in the world, you have a code, right? The ISO code. And this code is 3 letters. And let's say if I go to Canada, and it's just a standard, so everybody can understand each other. For Canada, the code is CAD, so CAD, and it tells you here Canadian dollar. If you want to go, I don't know, China, CNY, yuan, right? Yuan, renminbi. Those just call it yuan. So you have for each country. So if you don't know what the code is for the country you want to trade, just go on this list and you'll find it. If you want to go to the United States, you have USD, US dollar, okay? And don't bother with these, don't need to look at those. And yeah, so you have all these countries here, and you can just Google ISO code and you'll get to a bunch of different websites that have the same codes. Now, let's just go back to pound it in just a bit more. So if you have a currency pair of, let's say, USD CAD, and the price is 1.35, you would say that the base currency is USD, quote currency is Canadian. And so this is the quote for the USD against Canadian dollar. The quotation of 1.35 means that $1 can be exchanged for 1.35 Canadian dollars. So keep this handy if you always get confused. But by the end of this course, this for you is going to be something very simple. So not all currencies are equal. And when I say they're not equal, I'm talking about trading liquidity. So not all currencies are traded as much as one another, right? And you probably know that the currency that is the most traded is the US dollar. And it's actually the most traded when you compare it to other currencies. The second most traded one is the euro, and the US dollar is traded 3 times more than that around. So it's very, very liquid. Now, the countries or the currencies that are most traded, we call the major currencies. And this is the list of the major currencies here. Now, I didn't put them in order. It is true that the US dollar is the most traded one. The euro is the second, but I didn't really put these one in order. They might be, they might not be. But yeah, you have the Japanese yen, that's very much traded as well, the British pound, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, and Swiss franc. So these are the major currencies. Now, because of that, we have what we call the major currency pairs, right? And these are just pairs that are very, very liquid. So very widely traded. So you're not gonna find pesos to, I don't know, Japanese yen. It's not traded as much as these ones, okay? Or even pesos to something else, a country that's not even a major. So you have the pound sterling to USD, which some of these have like nicknames. So we call this one the cable. You don't really need to learn those. You have USD CAD, people call it the loonie. The Australian to USD, we call it the Aussie, so Australian dollar. Then this is USD to Swiss franc, so people call it the Swissy. USD to Japanese yen, Euro to USD, and New Zealand dollar to USD. So these are the major currency pairs. You'll see these often, and you're probably going to start by trading one of these currencies, okay? Now, you might be wondering, why do they have USD CAD and not CAD USD? Or why do they have here USD first, and then here you have USD second? Like, can you trade them, USD to Euro or Euro to USD? Well, there's a convention, and the convention goes as this. And, this is outside of course material, but it's just for your general information. Why do they do that? They have like a rule, and the rule is like, if there's a euro in the pair, the euro is going to go first, okay? But then second, the pound sterling. So if there's a euro and pound sterling, then the euro will go first, pound sterling goes second. But if there's no euro, then the pound sterling is going to go first, okay? So here, if there's not that, Australian dollar goes first. If not that, New Zealand dollar. If not that, US dollar, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, Japanese yen. So this is like the rule that they have of which currency goes first. And this is, sometimes people, wonder, why is it like that? This is their convention. Now, for the other currencies, so let's say pesos or any other currency, which we call the minors, they're generally quoted against the USD, right? So you're going to see them next to the USD. That's how most people are going to trade them. Now, if you're not trading them against the USD, what we're going to call this pair is, we're going to call it a cross pair, okay? So a cross pair is any pair that does not include the USD. So let's say, even if I'm looking at CAD, Japanese yen, okay? So now you know what currency pairs are, cross pairs, major pairs, and we're ready to move on to the next lecture.